What if the person you trusted most harbored a secret so dark it could shatter your world? Tonight, we delve into the spine-chilling tale of a seemingly perfect marriage turned nightmarish, where love, betrayal, and vengeance intertwine. In the picturesque town of Willow Creek, our story revolves around a devoted wife, a husband with a hidden agenda, and a mistress whose presence turns deadly. As we lift the veil on this chilling true crime story, you'll meet Emily, the beloved wife known for her kindness and grace. Her husband, James, exudes charm and success, but behind his polished exterior lies a tangled web of lies. And then there's Sarah, the elusive mistress with a mysterious past, whose involvement will leave you questioning everything. Stay with us as we unravel the sinister events leading up to a gruesome murder that shocked a community and posed the unsettling question: how well do we truly know those we hold dear? The perfect couple, Emily and James, appeared to the world as a testament to true love. Their story began in college, a chance meeting at a campus coffee shop that blossomed into a whirlwind romance. Emily, known for her compassionate nature and artistic flair, was drawn to James's charismatic presence and ambitious spirit. Together, they built a life that many envied, a charming home in Willow Creek, filled with laughter and warmth. Emily dedicated herself to community work, touching the hearts of everyone she met, while James ascended the corporate ladder, becoming a respected figure in the business world. Friends and family marveled at their bond, often describing them as inseparable. But beneath the surface of their idyllic life, tiny cracks began to form. Subtle moments of tension, a distant gaze from James, a quiet sigh from Emily when she thought no one was watching, whispers of arguments over James's long office hours and Emily's growing solitude hinted at a strain that was carefully concealed from outsiders. To those looking in, they were the epitome of the perfect couple, yet a shadow lingered, barely visible, waiting for the moment when everything would unravel. The mysterious mistress, Sarah, entered the scene with an air of intrigue that captivated everyone around her. Her enigmatic presence was first felt at a corporate gala, a lavish event where her path crossed with James's. Their meeting seemed coincidental amidst the clinking of champagne glasses and soft murmur of conversations. Yet, those who were there couldn't shake the feeling that Sarah's eyes held a secret deeper than her carefully curated charm. She was elusive and alluring, a contrast to Emily's gentle warmth. Her connection with James, initially innocent, quickly spiraled into a passionate entanglement far beyond what either had anticipated. Their affair blossomed in hidden rendezvous and whispered promises that defied the world they inhabited. Sarah, with her quick wit and intoxicating allure, offered James an escape from the confines of his life, one that he found himself drawn to like a moth to a flame. Friends and colleagues, perhaps blinded by their own perceptions of James's picture-perfect life, overlooked the subtle signs hinting at something amiss. The occasional missed calls, the unexplained late nights, and the shadow of guilt that sometimes flitted across James's demeanor were dismissed as harmless by those around him. James, ever the master of deception, managed to weave an intricate tapestry of lies that masked his infidelity, even as the seams began to unravel. But those closest to the couple began noticing Sarah's increasing presence at company events and the uncanny resemblance between the clothes James now favored and those she was known for wearing. There was an unspoken tension, a lingering distrust that hung in the air, and yet, as is often the case with secrets, the truth remained just out of reach, buried beneath layers of appearances and pretense. The plot unfolds as James and Sarah's clandestine world grows increasingly tangled, their forbidden desire morphing into a dangerous obsession. It started with innocuous whispers, a fleeting mention of what life would be without Emily, spoken in a moment of reckless abandon. But those words, once released, lingered like a dark cloud, casting shadows on their illicit affair. The once exhilarating thrill of secrecy began to shift into something more sinister as they entertained the unthinkable. Motives of greed and desire slowly surfaced, with Sarah captivated by the life James could provide, a life unencumbered by the presence of another, and for James, the promise of a future free from the facade he had grown weary of, a future he could paint with Sarah by his side. Evidence of their burgeoning plot lay hidden in plain sight, scattered like breadcrumbs, leading investigators into the heart of their deception. Cryptic messages exchanged under the guise of business emails, discussing innocuous-seeming errands that held a far more nefarious meaning. A sudden surge in James's interest in crime novels, the kind that detailed perfect crimes and untraceable methods, which seemed like a peculiar phase to the unknowing observer. As the meticulous planning progressed, friends noticed James's restlessness, his once steady demeanor now fraught with agitation and impatience. Sarah, on her part, exuded an eerie calmness, her confidence in their secretive plan almost palpable to those who encountered her. Together they built their plan, brick by deceptive brick, weaving a tapestry designed to ensnare Emily without leaving a trace. Yet, in their quest for a new beginning, they overlooked one crucial element, the unpredictable nature of human emotion, which could unravel even the most meticulously crafted plots. Their motivations, fueled by a toxic blend of ambition, desperation, and an insatiable hunger for a new life, laid the groundwork for a tragedy that none could foresee. As we delve deeper into the next chapter of this chilling tale, we uncover how their plan, once an intimate secret, would soon become a pivotal piece in a murder investigation that gripped an entire community. The crime scene was a chilling testament to the horrors that had unfolded within the once inviting home of Emily and James. Nestled in a quiet cul-de-sac in Willow Creek, the house appeared untouched by the chaos that had ensued. Neighbors, awoken by the piercing sound of sirens, watched in disbelief as law enforcement descended upon the picturesque residence. As investigators stepped inside, the contrast between the serene exterior and the turmoil within became starkly apparent. The living room, typically filled with Emily's vibrant artwork and family mementos, was now marked by a haunting stillness. Furniture lay overturned, as though a struggle had erupted amidst the tranquility. Broken glass from a shattered vase littered the floor, its fragments catching the morning light in a strangely beautiful yet ominous display. In the kitchen, the scent of Emily's last meal, now cold and untouched, lingered in the air like a ghost of normalcy that had been so cruelly disrupted. It was here that they found her, her lifeless form a tragic centerpiece in a room once filled with warmth and laughter. The investigators moved carefully, noting the eeriness of her expression, a silent witness to the betrayal she had faced. A crimson stain marred the pristine tiles, a chilling reminder of the violence that had erupted in this sacred space. The oddness of the scene was undeniable, details meticulously arranged yet inherently chaotic, suggesting an attempt to stage the setting. Glaring inconsistencies, such as a hastily wiped surface and an uncharacteristically open back door, hinted at the perpetrator's rush to cover their tracks. The immediate conclusion drawn by seasoned officers was that this was no random act of violence. The precision of the crime, juxtaposed with the haphazard attempt to conceal it, pointed towards a calculated act by someone intimately familiar with the household. As forensic specialists began their painstaking examination, the community held its breath, teetering between disbelief and apprehension, bracing for the revelations that would soon unravel the fabric of their once peaceful enclave. The initial investigation began with an unsettling air of urgency as law enforcement arrived at the scene with a singular focus: to uncover the truth behind the tragic loss of Emily. Detectives combed through the home, gathering fragments of evidence that hinted at a deeper, more sinister story waiting to be told. From the early hours, they meticulously documented the crime scene, capturing every detail that might whisper the secrets of that ill-fated night. As seasoned officers scrutinized the overturned living room and the kitchen's haunting stillness, their eyes were drawn to the anomalies, irregularities that hinted at a planned chaos rather than an impulsive act. With a careful sweep of the premises, they collected forensic samples, swabs of fingerprints, and any trace evidence that could unravel the mystery. Initial attention turned towards those closest to Emily, the ones who shared her life and her home. James, while outwardly cooperating, could not conceal the pallor that tinged his otherwise confident demeanor. His account of events seemed rehearsed, as if drawn from a script he had played over in his mind countless times. And Sarah, now thrust into the light, maintained a facade of distant concern, yet her presence felt like an echo of the turmoil that had consumed the household. Rumors swirled as investigators expanded their scope, interviewing neighbors and friends who expressed disbelief over the events, yet offered glimpses into the fractures beneath the surface of Emily and James's life. These early testimonies painted a picture of a marriage that, while appearing solid, had been riddled with unseen fractures. The couple's recent disputes, paired with James's increasingly erratic behavior, provided investigators with an initial framework for their probe. The evidence, while subtle, began to point towards an act meticulously masked as a spontaneous tragedy, hinting at premeditation. The enigmatic emails between James and Sarah, once innocuously dismissed, now surfaced as potential linchpins in the investigation. As detectives pieced together this intricate puzzle, the stakes rose, and the investigation became a race against time to catch those who dared to orchestrate such a cold-hearted betrayal. The community held its collective breath as the investigation intensified, each day bringing them closer to unraveling the malevolent forces that had torn their seemingly serene world apart. Key witnesses began emerging from the shadows, each with their own piece of the puzzle, as the investigation into Emily's tragic demise unfolded. Among them was Margaret, the elderly neighbor whose kitchen window offered an unassuming view into Emily and James's backyard. Margaret recounted how the laughter that once danced across her garden began to fade, replaced by the unsettling sight of Emily sitting alone, her shoulders heavy with an unspoken burden. Margaret, with a voice that quivered yet held firm, described noticing Sarah's sleek car parked in the driveway on nights when James claimed to be away on business. Her eyes, misty with age, bore witness to the hushed conversations that sometimes spilled out onto the patio, the low rumblings of attention she couldn't quite place but felt in her bones. Then there was Tom, a longtime friend of James, who sensed the growing distance between the couple. At occasional gatherings, he observed a shift in James's demeanor, an impatience masked beneath a veneer of joviality. Tom's account hinted at a friendship stretched thin by the secrets it harbored, as he recalled James's cryptic remarks about longing for a change, spoken with a wistful detachment that now felt chillingly prescient. Emily's sister, Claire, added to the mosaic of insights, her memories tinged with a sisterly intuition that something untoward was afoot. Claire, with tears catching in her voice, painted a portrait of Emily, once vibrant and full of dreams, slowly retreating into herself. She recalled their last conversation, Emily's words laced with an uncharacteristic despondency, as she voiced concerns about James's late nights and inexplicable absences. Claire's testimony was a poignant reminder of the silent struggles that lay beneath the couple's polished surface, struggles that now bore the weight of unspeakable loss. Each witness, with their unique vantage point, contributed to unraveling the intricate tapestry of deceit that had enshrouded Emily's life, offering glimpses into the subtle yet telling shifts in a world spiraling towards an unfathomable end. Their accounts were more than just recollections. They were echoes of a tragedy that demanded to be heard, providing investigators with the human context they desperately needed to understand the true depth of betrayal that had led to Emily's untimely fate. The trail of evidence began to weave a complex narrative, each thread meticulously pulling the investigators ever closer to the truth that lay hidden beneath layers of deceit. Forensic findings played a pivotal role, shedding light on the unseen forces at work within the confines of Emily and James's once happy home. Among the most telling discoveries were the fingerprints, a silent yet unyielding testament to the clandestine meetings that had taken place. Sarah's prints, found in unexpected places, whispered of her presence in moments James had claimed to be absent. They spoke a language of betrayal, painting a vivid picture of a narrative that had long been obscured by carefully constructed alibis. The digital world, often underestimated, became an unlikely ally in the quest for justice. Investigators unearthed a trove of digital footprints, hidden within the everyday devices that had become extensions of the couple's lives. Text messages between James and Sarah, clandestinely exchanged under the guise of professional correspondence, betrayed the depth of their collusion. These messages, tinged with an unsettling familiarity, sketched a map of their illicit plans with chilling precision. Further scrutiny of James's computer revealed searches that shattered the facade of innocence, queries about untraceable poisons and staged crime scenes, each entry a window into a mind calculating the costs of freedom. Physical evidence, often unremarkable to the untrained eye, unveiled its secrets under the keen gaze of forensic experts. Stray fibers found at the scene, a match to the fabric of Sarah's distinctive coat, bore silent witness to her fleeting yet incriminating presence. The alibi that once seemed airtight now unraveled, each piece of evidence chiseling away at the story James and Sarah had woven so intricately. As the investigation progressed, the community watched with bated breath, each revelation a step closer to justice for Emily, a woman whose trust had been shattered in the most unimaginable way. The evidence, once scattered and cryptic, now aligned with a terrifying clarity, casting a long shadow over those who dared to engineer such a cold-hearted betrayal. It was a testimony not just to the meticulous nature of their deceit, but to the relentless pursuit of truth that would soon unmask the darkness that lay at the heart of this tragedy. The arrest came down like a swift and unexpected storm, catching James and Sarah off guard in the midst of their carefully orchestrated lives. As the dawn broke over Willow Creek, law enforcement, armed with arrest warrants and an unyielding resolve, made their way to the corporate high-rise where James and Sarah had been conducting business as usual. The authorities moved with a quiet precision, ensuring that the news of their impending arrest wouldn't send waves of panic or give them the chance to flee. James, upon seeing the officers approach, wore an expression glazed with disbelief. His once unflappable confidence wavered as the gravity of the situation sank in. It was a surreal moment, a sharp contrast to the world he had built on lies and deceit. Attempting to maintain his composure, he stammered a denial, asserting his innocence as if it could erase the towering pile of evidence now stacked against him. Sarah, on the other hand, met the impending arrest with an air of defiance. Her calm demeanor masked a simmering fear, yet her eyes hinted at an awareness that the carefully spun web was finally unraveling. In a fleeting moment of desperation, she attempted to explain away her involvement, weaving a tale of manipulation and misunderstanding. But her words, empty and hollow, were met with the quiet resolve of the officers, each word falling flat in the face of irrefutable proof. Their attempts to evade capture were futile, as law enforcement had painstakingly pieced together the narrative of their betrayal. Surveillance footage, once dismissed as routine, now served as a silent witness to their secretive meetings. GPS data meticulously tracked their movements, painting a vivid trail leading back to the scene of the crime. Every digital footprint, every whispered conversation, now stood as an undeniable testament to their guilt. The community, once buzzing with speculation, now watched in a stunned silence as the arrest unfolded, a curtain finally drawn back to reveal the dark truth that lay beneath. The arrests of James and Sarah served as a stark reminder of the consequences that follow such profound acts of betrayal. Justice, swift and unyielding, had finally caught up with them, the handcuffs clicking shut with a finality that echoed through the corridors of the once peaceful town. As they were led away, each step faltering under the weight of their actions, the path toward justice began, setting the stage for the trial that would decide their fate. The trial commenced with an air of tension that filled the packed courtroom, a palpable sense of anticipation hanging over the proceedings like an ominous fog. As the gavel fell, signaling the start of what would become one of the most notorious cases in Willow Creek's history, the stage was set for a legal battle that would captivate the nation. The prosecution, armed with a meticulously constructed narrative, laid out a compelling argument that painted James and Sarah as architects of a cold-blooded murder. Their strategy hinged on the mountain of evidence meticulously gathered, each piece fitting seamlessly into the chilling mosaic of betrayal and death. Key witnesses took the stand one by one, their testimonies illuminating the secretive and sinister world James and Sarah had woven. The digital trail of emails and texts, damning in their familiarity, was presented with a precision that left the courtroom hushed in its wake. Yet the defense was unyielding, crafting a counter-narrative grounded in doubt and misdirection. Their approach aimed to cast shadows of uncertainty over the prosecution's carefully laid plans. They painted James as a man ensnared in circumstances beyond his control, a pawn manipulated by the enigmatic Sarah. For Sarah, they wove a tale of coercion and desperation, asserting she was merely a victim of James's unrelenting influence. These strategies played out in a dramatic tug of war that held the courtroom in thrall. As each side presented its case, tensions flared and emotions ran high, with unexpected revelations sending ripples of shock through those in attendance. The media, ever hungry for new angles, dissected every moment with the voracity of a pack of wolves, feeding the public's insatiable appetite for the unfolding drama. Public reaction was a mix of outrage, disbelief, and a grim fascination with the events that were laid bare. Outside, the courthouse steps became a gathering ground for those who sought both justice and a glimpse into the catastrophic unraveling of what had once been the perfect couple. The air buzzed with debates over guilt and innocence, with the trial providing a mirror to society's own curiosities and fears. As the trial progressed, the weight of the evidence bore down heavily on James and Sarah, their once confident facades now cracked under the relentless pursuit of justice. The courtroom, a theater of raw emotions and unwavering judgments, became the battleground upon which their fates were to be decided. Each day brought the community closer to the verdict, as all eyes watched and waited for the scales of justice to deliver their final, irrevocable judgment. The verdict was delivered in a courtroom thick with tension, each word from the judge's mouth carrying the weight of justice sought by a grieving community. After a deliberation that felt like an eternity to Emily's family, the jury returned with a unanimous decision, guilty on all counts for both James and Sarah. The courtroom erupted in a flurry of emotions, gasps of relief, muffled sobs, and the heavy silence of closure that had eluded so many. James, once the picture of composure, now sat with slumped shoulders, his world irrevocably altered by the finality of the judgment. Sarah's stoic demeanor cracked, tears betraying the resignation of her fate. The sentencing that followed was severe yet reflective of the magnitude of their betrayal. Life sentences for both, devoid of the possibility of parole, ensuring they would spend the remainder of their days confronting the gravity of their actions behind bars. An attempt to appeal, spurred by a desperate hope for redemption, was swiftly dismissed, the court unyielding in its pursuit of justice for Emily. Outside the courthouse, a community breathed a collective sigh of relief, the verdict a balm to the wound that had long festered in their midst. Emily's family, though mourning the void her absence left, found a semblance of peace. Their pursuit of justice finally met. Candlelight vigils were held, once again illuminating the bounds between life and the shadows that had briefly consumed their town. The media, ever watchful, captured the essence of a community that had stood resilient in the face of tragedy, echoing the sentiment that while justice had been served, it was but a small comfort against the backdrop of loss they would forever carry. As Willow Creek slowly began to heal, the legacy of Emily's life, her kindness, her warmth endured, a beacon of light in a narrative that had been shrouded in darkness. The story of betrayal and justice served became a cautionary tale, shared in hushed tones, ensuring that the community would never forget the depths of deceit, nor the triumph of truth that eventually prevailed. The public reaction to the chilling events in Willow Creek was both immediate and profound, reverberating far beyond the town's serene borders. In the immediate aftermath of the trial's conclusion, the community gathered, united by a mixture of relief and outrage, grappling with the unsettling truth of betrayal that had unfolded in their midst. The local atmosphere was thick with conversations, whispers passing from neighbor to neighbor, each recounting moments they had once overlooked, now seen in a haunting new light. On a national scale, The case captivated the audience, a grim reminder of the darkness that can lurk beneath seemingly perfect exteriors. Media outlets across the country broadcasted every twist and turn, their coverage painting a vivid picture of the drama that had played out in the courtroom. Talk shows and podcasts delved into the psychological intrigues of the crime, dissecting the motivations of James and Sarah with a meticulousness usually reserved for fictional narratives. Public opinion was divided, with some expressing shock over the depths of deception and others expressing relief that justice had been served. The trial's outcome ignited debates about trust and the fragility of human relationships, drawing parallels between this case and other infamous betrayals throughout history. Social media buzzed with discussions as people from all walks of life chimed in with their interpretations and personal anecdotes, creating a tapestry of shared fear and fascination. Within Willow Creek, the impact was felt on a more intimate level as the community began the slow process of healing. Support groups emerged, offering solace to those who found themselves questioning their own relationships in light of the betrayal that had shattered Emily's life. Schools and local organizations hosted seminars on trust and awareness, aiming to fortify the bonds that held their small town together. Emily's story, though born of tragedy, became a catalyst for reflection and change, inspiring vigils and memorials that celebrated her enduring spirit and kindness. The tale of James and Sarah's betrayal became woven into the community's narrative, a cautionary tale that would resonate in conversations for generations, ensuring that while the darkness had been confronted, the lessons it imparted would not be forgotten. As the media eventually shifted focus and the national spotlight dimmed, Willow Creek emerged with a renewed resilience, its people bonded by the shared experience and a collective vow to honor Emily's legacy by fostering a community rooted in honesty and compassion. Examining the psychological motivations behind such an unsettling crime reveals a tapestry woven with threads of complexity and human fallibility, as experts in the field of criminal psychology stepped forward to unravel the intricate psyche of both James and Sarah. They offered a chilling glimpse into what drives individuals to betray so profoundly. James, the outwardly charismatic husband whose life appeared to embody success, was dissected through the lens of his hidden insecurities and overwhelming need for validation. Criminal psychologists noted that beneath his polished exterior lay a man driven by a desire for control, seeking out relationships that bolstered his self-worth in ways that his marriage, over time, could not. This thirst for external affirmation, coupled with his susceptibility to flattery and novelty, paved the way for Sarah's entrancing allure to ensnare him. James's actions were described as a manifestation of a dissonance between his public persona and private discontent, propelling him towards a reckless pursuit of a life unbound by the constraints he had imposed upon himself. In stark contrast, Sarah's psychological profile painted a picture of calculated intelligence entwined with an ambition unfettered by moral constraints. Criminal psychologists delved into her past, identifying patterns of seeking relationships that offered upward mobility and financial security. Her involvement in the crime stemmed from a combination of manipulative prowess and an innate ability to mirror the desires of those around her, making her simultaneously a muse and a catalyst for James's darkest impulses. Her motivations were rooted in a willingness to dismantle existing structures, to build a future that aligned with her dreams, even at the expense of ethical considerations. The interplay between James and Sarah's psychological landscapes created a perfect storm of ambition and desire, where each fueled the other's narratives and fantasies until they spiraled beyond the confines of abstraction into a tragic reality. Using the insights provided by these experts, the community could begin to comprehend the human vulnerabilities and cognitive distortions that led to such a catastrophic unraveling. As they painted this portrait, criminal psychologists invited the world to reflect on the fragility of human nature and the importance of self-awareness as a safeguard against the darker paths that lie within us all. The aftermath of Emily's tragic murder sent ripples through the core of both her family and the wider community, leaving a lasting impact that could never be erased. For Emily's family, the road to healing was fraught with profound sorrow and an unfillable void that once brimmed with her warmth and spirit. Her closest kin found solace in honoring her memory through community service and outreach, activities that Emily had cherished, continuing her legacy in every act of kindness and support they extended. As they navigated through the grief, Emily's family became pillars of strength for one another, their bonds forged tighter by the shared commitment to preserve her enduring spirit. In Willow Creek, a once serene community, trust had been shattered like glass, leaving jagged edges that would take years to smooth out. Neighbors and friends, once warm and open, now found themselves hesitant, their interactions tinged with a wary caution that wasn't there before. The local authorities, spurred by the shocking betrayal, initiated programs aimed at fostering communication and awareness, ensuring that such a tragedy could not slip through unnoticed again. Workshops on relationship dynamics and mental health awareness became cornerstones of this initiative, providing the townspeople with tools to rebuild the trust that had been sorely tested. Schools integrated classes on emotional intelligence and empathy, aiming to equip young minds with the understanding of healthy relationships and the importance of integrity in their dealings with others. As the community began to heal, these programs slowly but surely restored faith in the town's collective heart, a beacon of resilience illuminating the path forward. The tragedy also spurred legal reforms at a state level, with lawmakers pushing for stricter regulations on domestic and psychological abuses, advocating for resources that could intervene before such betrayals escalated to violence. Emily's story, though born from heartache, became a catalyst for change, her life a testament to the power of community and the unwavering pursuit of justice. As her legacy lived on, the people of Willow Creek found a new sense of purpose, dedicating themselves to ensuring that the shadows of the past would not define their future. Through shared efforts and a profound commitment to compassion, the town emerged with a renewed determination to protect and uplift one another, forever influenced by the life and lessons Emily had unwittingly left behind. Throughout this haunting tale, we've navigated the labyrinthine corridors of deception and desire that led to Emily's untimely demise. The seemingly perfect world she inhabited unraveled to reveal the intricate complexities of human motivation, where ambition and desperation intertwined with chilling consequences. James, torn between the life he knew and the allure of something new, and Sarah, with her calculating charm, forged a path that spiraled into darkness. Their story reminds us of the fragility of trust and how easily it can be fractured by the shadows lurking within us all. As we ponder the depths of betrayal, we are compelled to reflect on our own relationships and the boundaries we place to safeguard our hearts. In a world where secrets can wear the guise of love, the lessons embedded in this tragedy urge us to remain vigilant, to cherish honesty, and to trust wisely. Consider the echoes of this narrative in your own life, and perhaps share your thoughts or similar experiences with us in the comments below. Let us remember Emily's story not just as a cautionary tale, but as a somber reminder of the human capacity for both light and darkness. If you found this exploration of trust and betrayal insightful, please like this video, subscribe for more stories that delve into the human psyche, and hit the notification bell to stay updated. Thank you for watching, and we look forward to hearing your thoughts.